Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today, we're getting into a conversation that has a lot of us kind of twisted, but we can relate to it a little bit. Splitting finances in relationships. Gabrielle Union recently opened up about finally letting go of the idea of going 50-50 in her marriage. She calls it a trauma response, something she once felt she had to do, but now she doesn't because her man is hers, period. This raises a lot of questions about financial dynamics in relationships. Is going 50-50 truly fair, or is it just a survival mode in disguise? Do women who contribute financially feel more secure, or does it put extra pressure on them? And how do traditional gender roles fit into all of this? We're going to unpack it all. And, why are so many women feeling like they have to carry their own weight? What financial security really does look like in a relationship, and if true partnership means letting go of the 50-50 mindset. So let's get into it today with an amazing panel. We have Joe Corley. He is our therapist here. We also have Marlo Layson is our TV film producer. We have Constance Carter, a wealth activist. And we also have Minister Connie, who does all the things. She's an author. She has an entrepreneurship. She does all things. But before we even get into this, we want to give you a reminder. Here at Fly Nubian Money, we are definitely still doing the blackout, and it's Blackout Friday. Remember, we promised that we were going to do this. So that means no Walmart, no Target, no Amazon. You are only going to buy today from Black-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. And that shouldn't be hard for you, because you know what? You're going to put your money exactly where it needs to be, back into our community. We're going to keep our dollars circulating. So let's check out this little video about Blackout.
Why he got you up in here and we doing a boycott? We ain't supposed to be in here. Sis, what you doing up in here? We supposed to be boycotting. Oh. You know we ain't supposed to be up in here. You ain't here. That's what I'm talking about. I'm proud of you. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. I'm proud of you. And I came to talk to us so we can think better of ourselves. Yes.
I better wait. My daughter did say that. I'm going to wait.
It's up to you, but...
No, I appreciate you holding me accountable because I know I'm not supposed to be in here.
We supposed to be boycotting because we ain't supposed to be up in here. We boycotting. We're boycotting. No, we ain't supposed to be up in here.
Why?
Did you know that?
Wait, what?
I'm talking to my sister.
Sorry.
That was I love everything about that. What really gets me is I'm wondering just how many people might have just said that and then just waited for her to go away or went to another Target. But we're not doing that. Okay. We here are really dedicated about this blackout, and so much so, guys, we are putting together a Black business directory, so you don't want to miss out on that. We will be talking about that later as well, but this is Blackout Friday. Let's make our voices be heard with our dollars, because that's the only thing they seem to react to. All right. So with that being said, go ahead and put in the comments if you've already put out the blackout in your day. And if you're just doing today, or if you blacked out a lot of these companies already for the rest of the year. All right, Mr. Connie, have you blacked out?
Definitely the whole year.
The whole year.
I was never a Walmart person anyway, but yes, definitely.
Joe, you blacking out?
Ain't been up in there at all.
Marlo, you blacking out?
Yeah, I've kind of been blacking out, so I don't have a problem continuing.
Me either. How about you, Constance?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Yep. I love it. That's how dedicated we are. Now let's get back into our conversation, because this is very interesting. Gabrielle Union went viral when she said that she paid 50% of their household. She pretty much demanded that. And now she's kind of had a change of heart and addressed the real symptoms behind that. So let's check out what she said.
famously said 50-50 or bust, right? And I meant that financially, spiritually, emotionally. And there's just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 90. There's days I don't have and I need him to be 100. It's a trauma response. And 50-50 is I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you with 100% of anything, not my heart, not my cash. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. I had such anxiety. Like I was crying. I was shaking. And he was like, you insisted on that. He's like, I thought it made you feel better. I'm like, it did. And right now I want to take it back. Now it sounds crazy to be like, you, Mr. NBA superstar who made a bazillion more amount of money than I do, can pay the mortgage, because I hate the feeling of releasing that to someone. And you release that to someone, chaos can happen. And it's brought us closer because he knows it's not about whether he can afford it. It's being vulnerable enough to be open enough to know that I'm okay. I'm okay as his wife. He's okay as my husband. I'm okay in this family. I'm okay in this home. I deserve it. And so I'm trying to expand my heart, expand all of the notions of what vulnerability can look like.
As you heal, as you evolve, as you lean more into vulnerability, you can also change how you feel about something, and it's okay. Sometimes when we build those walls up for safety or to keep what we think is harm out, we can also keep love out too.
Enough.
I think there's a lot of great points there, and I would love to hear from everyone on our panel today how they felt about Gabrielle Union's statement, and if you agree or if you don't agree. And Marlo, I'm going to start with you. How do you feel about her change of heart?
Well, I mean, I'm glad that she is willing to allow her husband to step into the role of man and leader, right? I hope that that's what I was hearing her say. So I'm happy for her, because obviously this is something that she realizes has held her back and kind of, caused a little bit of internal friction for her. So I'm happy she released that, because that had to be super stressful. Your husband got $100 million basketball contract, sneaker endorsements. He's he's on TV regularly doing analysis and play-by-play and stuff, and you worried about yeah, girl. I'm glad you got over that.
Okay, I feel you on that. Constance, what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, I think it's great that she is in that place, but I certainly understand it. You know, when you had to come from a place where you were the breadwinner. Because I feel like, initially that would be my trepidation too, because I've been the breadwinner my whole life in terms of just the money piece, right? And so then now you have to release that. And I don't look at money as control necessarily, but I feel like, this is my contribution and I want to make sure that I'm contributing. So I see where she's coming from. It's wrong. And because marriages aren't 50-50. Because she's going to give more in one area and he's going to give more in one area, and he may be giving more financially. But when you're leading from a place of that, when you've had to be that, it's hard to release the strings on that. So I get why she had that trauma response, but I think where she is now is probably much better, and it's probably made their situation better as well.
I think so too. At some point, you do have to kind of give up a little bit of trust. That's part of being married, is to be able to trust. And sometimes if you've been hurt, that makes it harder to trust someone. And I think she did tap into that. Minister Connie, what do you think about her statement?
It's kind of hard to give up control. Before I married my deceased husband, I always was a single parent in the home, so I had all the responsibilities. When I married him, he took it all. I didn't have to do anything, and it was such a blessing. But at first, when we got married, I would open the bills, and he would say, "The bills is in my name. Why are you opening them?" I wanted to make sure that they were paid. So after maybe about a year, I kind of like stopped doing it, and it felt great. It felt so relief, just a great relief. And now I wish I had it back again. I really miss him. Because I got all the responsibility, but I was blessed for that period of my life to have someone that took care of everything.
Right.
I didn't have to worry about nothing.
Right. And you came from being all of it beforehand and then having to go into that situation.
Yes.
That's a big let go. How about you, Joe? What do you think about her statement?
I mean, it's a good conversation, right? I think that couples, it's fluid. It's always fluid. Couples trying to figure out what works for them, what dynamics work for them. And hearing her talk, I mean, it sounds like she's just looking for a space to be safe in. So, I mean, I just think that I'm glad that she's willing to open herself up to the possibility of realizing that, her situation now is not what it was. But that just takes time. You have to be patient with people when they have those kind of lived experiences. But I'm glad she's willing to, get to a space where she's vulnerable, talking about it. I don't know how genuine she is. I kind of always feel like she's always acting, but but I'm glad that she's talking about it.
What I am also glad about is that she was well known for saying she was doing the 50-50 thing, and how she was so firm on that, and how she was at least able to come back and share how she's grown into feeling a different way. Because I think a lot of us just get stuck in that situation, and then we don't want to admit when our minds have changed, or we have grown, or we've learned something in our life, that we don't go back and explain that to people. So I do give her kudos for that. Kind of like you, Joe. I never know when she's acting and when she's not. But I have a different perspective from her, just a little bit, because of her acting school. I was connected with that too. So you never know what she's doing, but it's still a great conversation. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
So know and grow. Listen, we and you're going to hear me say it every time I host and every time I'm on here. We are here to help you get your financial house in order. In order to do that, sometimes you have to tap into some new skills, learn new things of what's going on in the world. Is trying to tell you what you can't do, but I can tell you one thing: you can take care of yourself by learning new skills, creating yourself a side hustle. Even if you're just sewing, y'all. You need to do something. Somebody want to learn to sew. But if you want to join the club, we have so many resources for you there. So you want to make sure that you sign up for that, because there is a 30-day free trial. All right. Now, listen, I want to share some stats because this is pretty deep, but the stats are very interesting. So let's look at some about the 50-50 split in relationships. A 2024 survey found that 47% of couples split household bills evenly, but women still take on more unpaid labor, such as childcare, housework, and emotional labor. Studies also show that financial stress is a leading cause of divorce. And in relationships where women earn more, 60% still feel pressure to contribute equally or prove their worth. There's a whole lot to unpack with that one, because when you think of women, we pride ourselves on saying we can do it all. You give us a fish, we'll give you 50,000 fish back. We'll feed the whole neighborhood. But does this make it harder for us to live life with a little more joy? And I'm going to ask you that, Mr. Connie. Do you think we put too much on ourselves as Black women?
Yes, we do. I was married a couple times. My first husband, When we first got married, we did not have, I had one son. He didn't have any children with me. And when we sat down and did our budget, it worked. But when I started having children, it didn't work anymore, but he wanted to still contribute the same amount of money. So it was so hard. So what it was lopsided. I had more of the responsibility than he did. And then a lot of times men don't think about toilet paper, soap, soap powder, lotion, all those other things. That costs money. And so therefore they give you a few dollars for like different things, but there's a whole lot more that goes into the budget than what you think it is. So I think it's better when you sit down and look at it all together. But I do believe that each couple should have a certain amount of money in their own account, but we bring a certain amount to the table and put in one account for us to pay the bills equally, 50-50, if that's the way you're going to go.
I think that's a smart idea. So that leads me into another question on how you can lay that out. So Constance, you were the main breadwinner in your relationship. So, did you have a separate bank account, or did you have joint accounts, or did you have both? Like, how was it that you both contributed it financially, and how did that work out for you? Did you feel pressure being the breadwinner?
Yeah, there was no contribution from any other party outside of me. It was pressure. And so here's how, this is where I went wrong. So I used to, because he would spend frivolously. He had no concept. It was just like an ATM. It was like a child. So it was swipe, 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 swipe. Whether he knew he had money in the bank or not, he wouldn't check. He just swipe, swipe, swipe. And so it would stress me out. Mm-hmm. But what it did is it birthed the nobody works harder than Constance Carter. So instead, and I'm not an arguer. So instead of me fussing and arguing and because I'd stopped doing that like a long time ago, I just started working harder. I just started grinding harder and making more money so that it didn't affect us in the way that it did. And so, and I wouldn't even look at what was going out because that shit would stress me out too. So I would just like work harder to make more money. And that's not healthy. But that's how I was able to cope in that situation because it was 100% on me. And I used to be like, hey, if you know what, you don't got to make no money. You don't. Just stop spending so much. That's all. That was my
communication again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's our main word, isn't it, Joe? Communication. Mm-hmm. But Marlo, so we hear that women have more responsibilities than just financial. We're talking about, when it comes to who's cooking the dinner, who's watching the kids. And, when the men come home from work, typically, and this is not all households, they don't tend to go and do the things that we do because we're nurturers. So I have a question for you. What advice would you give to a woman who feels that they have to go 50-50 out of fear or habit?
I think you have to listen to your partner and take your partner into consideration. My first marriage, I married young. We were young, high school sweethearts. We ain't know nothing about nothing, just happy and in love, having a baby, And he was similar to what Constance described. Money going out, he would work, but he didn't care about saving, right? So he gonna spend till every nickel gone. And then I'm like, well, what about emergency? What about this? What about that? And it was stressful for me. And I think that it's a conversation that you need to have. Me and my ex-husband never talked about money. In my current relationship, we talk about finances frequently, right? We have regular conversations about money. What's going on with this? How is that? Oh, I'm going to take care of this. We don't split bills 50-50. He pays a lion's share of the bills. I pay the other smaller bills. And we balance household chores. He's a good wiper. He could wipe something down better than anybody granny. And so he does the majority of the cooking, the cleaning in the house. I do the majority of the cooking, but that's maturity, right? In he married the same person twice. In his previous relationship, he didn't have that balance because again, they were young and nobody tells you how to be married. People just like, oh, I'm in love, so happy. We just love, cuddle. We be dressed alike, all kind of silly stuff that don't matter, right? But nobody tells you the nuts and bolts of a marriage. And so I think you have to have those conversations. If your partner is not open with having conversations regularly about money, or talking about how they spend versus how you spend, who's a spender, who's a saver, what are we saving for collectively? Is there something that we want to get together, trips, whatever? You got to have those conversations. It's time out for not having those conversations. The economy is too tight to be playing the games.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Now, what I do love about my husband is the cooking doesn't fall on me, definitely, and neither does the cleaning. We do balance, and it's interesting. We just know what we do and we do it. But I ain't mad at having things on the grill, because he loves to grill. So when he grills for 2-3 days, and then I take care of the rest of it. So it's a nice balance with that. But Joe, we are talking about communication, and we are talking about, maybe not having the conversations or the expectations of what marriage really is before people want to get married. We're so in la la land, we're so in butterfly land that, some of these critical discussions that we should have are not being had. So should couples discuss money before marriage? And if so, what are the key conversations that they should have?
They should discuss before, during, the entire time. It's a fluid conversation. And, I think finances being the number one reason for divorce is because it's an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people, and people avoid uncomfortable conversations. So they just decide to split apart. And the things about always turn into resentment. We got to talk about these things. What do we talk about? I saw that question about, should they have an allowance if the spouse is paying? You should have an allowance whether you're making the money or not. Whether you're not making, everybody is, and we shouldn't call it an allowance. We're just gonna call it a budget, right? There's a certain amount that we're gonna spend, and that's what it is. There's a certain amount that you're allowed to spend. There's a certain amount that I'm gonna spend, and we're just gonna keep it like that. We're just gonna have those conversations, because if we spend outside of this, then we're not following our plan. So it's all about what our shared goals are, our shared vision is, and if we're in alignment, then we're not gonna stress about that. It's not gonna need to be constantly revisited.
Right. And once again, the big C word, communication. Minister Connie, do you think that the 50-50 mindset is a trauma response for many women?
Yes, definitely. In the United States, there's a lot of single women head of household. So therefore, if they get married or get a partner that will take over all the responsibility, that would be a trauma, because they're not used to it. So therefore, it is very hard to let go of that control. Like I said, I was in that position. I couldn't let go, but I did. I finally did. And I tell you what, it's just a good place to be when the man is taking care of the household, you, and everything else that needs to be done, But a man should already know your worthiness or your worth when he comes into the relationship. So you don't have to prove yourself of your worth, because he knows what he had when he came in the relationship. So therefore, that's where I stand on it. Yes, it's, that 50-50 thing is hard to do because it's never even. Like I said,
Right.
with other things, it's never even when it's 50-50.
Yeah, and you're right. 81% of Black women are head of household, and we've seen that stat on our show many different times. But listen, I want to ask the viewership audience, because we did touch on something that I think it's really critical. A lot of you are regular. Maybe you're just watching us one time for the first time, and you're coming back. But I would like for those who are married or in a very happy relationship to put in a tip that someone who may not be married or is engaged should really be looking at and take thought and take heed of, so that they can talk to their partner about it. So go ahead and put those in the comments, because I think it's important that we be the light so that they can also open their minds and have successful marriages and relationships as well. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Listen, we are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you happen to miss a show and you know you don't like to do that, maybe you got busy, maybe you're doing something, maybe you need to take that jog, you could take us on the road with you by just going to Spotify and downloading our shows. And if maybe, it's almost been a year, guys, that we have been doing Fly Nubian Money. And if you missed any of those, guess what? You can go back and listen to any of those and check out what we've done in the past. And if you missed today, you can download and take us on that jog as well. So listen, I really like this one comment that someone said, because I kind of feel the exact same way. Christina said, my husband is my partner. What I have is his, and what he has is mine. We don't count who pays what. We put it all in the same pot and pay together. Some years I made more and some he made more. And that goes right into what we're talking about. There's no such thing as just 50-50, and it's not just financially. It's actually, and this is what we're talking about, it's not always about money that's 50-50, right? Sometimes you need your spouse 90%. When I lost my sisters, my husband was all in. When I only had 1% to give, my husband was there on the days that I just couldn't get out of the bed. And when he lost his dad and he had 1%, I was there for that. So it's more than just money. It's more than that. If you want a successful marriage, you have to look at it all as a whole. It's always more than just financial. But we have another video that we want to check out. Check this out and let's get back into the conversation.
Ready to feel good about your finances? Let's get into it.
Hi friends, let's talk about couples and money. One surefire way to make sure that you both are on the same page about your finances is to communicate and be transparent. Yes, I want you both to be vulnerable about your histories, what you both have experienced, what you've gone through, in order to make it more comfortable and feel grounded in the conversations about your money. You want to understand where your partner's coming from and how their lived experience impacts how they treat money. And they should want the same for you, to understand what you have gone through and how that may potentially trigger some things when you're going through your financial life together. So transparency, vulnerability, and communication are going to be the 3 things that you need to do with your partner to make sure you're on the same page about your money. All right, good luck. See ya.
I tell you what, when we ask our viewership audience family to put in their comments, they never fail to follow through. So Armando said, I asked her to show me how to do specific things. For one, it's done the way she wants. For 2, if I mess up, I can say, I did it the way you told me to. I absolutely love that. We love that answer. So Joe, how do financial struggles impact intimacy and emotional connection in relationships? Now, she was saying communication, that's our key word, but let's dig into it a little bit more. How can this impact other parts of our relationships?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I know for men, it can really affect the masculinity, right? You might have an issue getting control of the situation if you feel like in your everyday life, you're not the man, because of what we've learned over time about what our masculinity is supposed to look like. You might want to get in the bedroom and Start doing some
And then you're
things.
mad at each other, right?
You know, you might wear flowers on your drawers, and I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Put your granny panties on.
Yeah, and so you know, but it really does affect the dynamic because now the woman is like, she doesn't necessarily, especially from this is from personal experience, she has been in control of all of the situations, household wise, financially wise. She doesn't want to be in control of everything. It's really overwhelming. But because we don't know how to share that dynamic and switch it on and off, you know, we don't know how to connect intimately. We don't know how to connect physically because we're so distraught outside of everything that we're doing, you know, in the bedroom in our relationship. We stop talking. Resentment, like I said, resentment just grows out of control, and eventually, you know, we go on our separate ways, all because we couldn't have a talk. You know, Tevin Campbell.
Right. One thing that, I always heard people say, and my mother also same thing is, you don't go to bed mad. And don't go sleeping in different bedrooms. Go have a talk it out. If you can't talk it out that night, then just agree to discuss it the next day and not take it to bed angry, because you never really know how that may spill over into the next thing. So Constance, what does it look like when women let go? What does it look like? Because someone said earlier in our comments that Gabrielle looks like she has released something. She looked more relaxed. So to you, what does that look like for a woman to let go?
Yeah, it probably looks like exhaling. It probably looks like peace, I would imagine. Like, you probably look a lot younger too. Because that's something that you don't have to worry about. You're just comfortable. You're in full, I think, control of your femininity. You're able to rest in your femininity. And I think when you're able to just really rest, because I think what's happened in this country with 81% of women being the head of households, we're in roles that we were not designed to be in, and which causes more stress on our body, more trauma in our minds, which causes us to age, which causes us to act and react and do all the things that we shouldn't be doing as women, right? Because I think women were made for certain things, as men were made for certain things. And so when you're able to just relax and rest in your femininity, it probably makes you look younger, feel better. You're probably more turned on, right? How can I be turned on if I got to go out there and work, and then you want me to come home and get into bed and please you, and I got to go out there and do everything else? So you're probably more turned on, which probably then in turn, does other things to you and your endorphins. So there's just probably just so many things that I would imagine that contributes to you being able to just
to breathe. To breathe. I think that makes a big difference. I have to tell y'all something that my husband did for me this week that I wasn't expecting. And my house shoes were looking just terrible. I was like, oh, these house shoes, I need to get another pair of house shoes. And I came home the other day and there was this prettiest little house shoe sitting beside the bed. And he was like, you said you needed more house shoes. So it's just the little things like that that really do help us communicate and makes me want to be more loving. That's more hugs. That's more, oh, you thought about me today. So Marlo, is that something that is more important to you than necessarily finances, or finance is your number one? How do you balance?
No, I mean, being considered that, if I say something, whether I'm asking or just something that I need to do, and you take the initiative to do it, you've lightened my load, right? You've caused me to not have to stop somewhere. You caused me to not have to, like you've made my life easier in that moment. Like, you've given me comfortable footwear in your case, right? It's funny that we're talking about this weekend. I was with family, and my partner's mom was like, she had some money to give him, and he was like, he reminded her in a public setting in the house, and she shushed him to the room, and she had trauma, and she's not a sharing type, but his dad, who was her first husband, had a drug addiction, and as a result they lost everything. So her thing is with money, right? She holds money, her personal money, really tight. She doesn't want her husband to know how much money she has, even though the man she's married to now totally different man, takes care of everything. She goes on 3, 4, 5, 6 trips a year, like a totally different relationship. But it wasn't until he was like, "Ma, what you making me? What, like, why so secretive about this check? Like, it's my check." And she was like, "Oh, I'm like that because your daddy." And they the next day had a very lengthy conversation about this trauma that she tapped into, that she had been, her and this man have been married like 20 years. And she just has this thing. If she got $20, he ain't gonna know she got 5. And it was really funny to see her because she's a really kind of rigid woman. So she's not like open expressing her feelings and stuff like that. So the fact that she even shared that with him, I was like, oh wow, that's really big for her. But it also goes to that old adage, like I've said on here before, you don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, right? But your hands, you gotta rub them, you gotta wash them. They have to work in some type of relationship. So I think these traumas, we just circulate them all through our lives, and it's for protection. It's a protective measure for her, because in the first relationship she lost everything because he knew everything that she had.
Right. See, that's a great point. Y'all not gonna get that somewhere else. Y'all gonna get that only here, because we talk about the real things, because we want you to not only be happy successfully in your business and financially, we want you to be well-rounded. But that makes another good question that I would love to hear from the panel as well as our viewership family. Are there any traumas that you all have around money? And I'm going to start with you, Minister Connie. Have you ever had any traumas around money?
Yes. My first husband, he would not keep a job. So he would get a job, a really good job. I would pray for him to get a good job. He'll keep it for a little while, and then he would stop working. And so I've always been blessed to get great jobs. So therefore, he would just quit. I could never just quit. Even when I was having my first maternity leave, I had to go on bed rest. And I tell you what, it was the hardest thing, because I was laying there thinking about, oh, we got to pay these bills. I can't do anything. So it's very, very stressful. And that was my trauma, because I did not know if we was going to be able to pay our rent. So, but I was vulnerable. I couldn't do anything. I had to, be on bed rest so that I could take care of myself and the baby I was carrying. So therefore, it was hard to depend on him, because he would just up and quit his job because his boss said the wrong thing to him. How many times we had to endure things that we didn't want to on the job, but we stayed there and kept the job because we know we had to pay our bills.
Minister Connie, he was like, your husband was like, what's the name on Everybody Hates Chris? My wife got a job.
Yes, exactly.
I don't need his job.
What was her name? What was the mama's name on Everybody Hates Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Rochelle, yeah. Your husband's like Rochelle.
I love it. Well, now, Constance, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Do you have any money traumas growing up?
Oh, growing up.
Or now, just general in question. Do you feel like you've had some that you've had to overcome?
So if I don't have a certain amount of money in my bank account, now I have like some investments I could pull from. So like if my bank account falls like below like a 6-figure amount, then in my checking account, right? Then I get a little nervous. So yeah, like.
So you have a certain thing for you that is like, oop, trigger. I need to make sure that I take care of that.
That makes me very nervous.
Yeah, I got you. How about you, Joe?
When I went through my indictment and I couldn't work, I couldn't earn any money. I watched as my wife's career at the same time simultaneously was taking off. So she's going in this one direction. I'm going in a complete opposite direction. And for a good period of time, she became like the 100% breadwinner. At its worst, I couldn't sleep. I was stressed. My depression was at an all-time high, and mainly not because I was jealous or envious of my wife, but because she was having so much success, and because of my situation, she couldn't enjoy it. So now as I'm, slowly making my climb, it's slow, right? I mean, I went from up here to like down at the bottom, and now I'm not as fast as I dropped, I'm not climbing the exact same rate. So I'm actively, full moment of transparency, I'm actively working through those feelings right now. There are nights still where I cannot sleep if I didn't earn a certain amount or if things didn't go my way, business wise or financially, just because once again, my wife is really enjoying the height of her career right now. Like it's really popping for her. So yeah, it's still an issue. I'm walking with my therapist, walking through it. I'm doing things with myself, trying to, affirm myself and make myself know that it's okay, that I'm on the comeback. But there's certain things that you got to, it was really affecting a lot of things in a lot of areas of our life, for sure.
And it can flow over, especially when it's really tapping on your brain. You tend to just center on that, and then it takes a whole lot of joy out of your life. Marlo, what about you? Have you any money traumas in your life?
Yeah, control really more than anything. Because, like I said, my ex-husband was just so frivolous, and he wasn't a saver. But my partner now is the way that he works. He's just he's a different person, right? So I've had to allow him to be who he is and make the necessary adjustments for me, where I feel a little bit safer. I feel a little bit more vulnerable about money issues. And he is I was the higher earner. He's the higher earner in the relationship. So there's a little bit of that, I can't just step in, but it's not even my place to step in and save the day, right? Like that's role reversal. I should do that if absolutely we need to, but just the way that we should be moving through our lives, that his role should be to step in, right? If we're walking in our femininity and masculinity, like the internet says we should, then definitely I should fall back and trust. So I am definitely learning to trust that if he say he gonna do it, he gonna do it, and he gonna get it, and he gonna have it. As opposed to my ex, who I'd be like, "Where you at? What? Looking up under stuff? What's going on?" Right? That fool hiding because he ain't got it, and he don't know how to say he got it. Right? So it's just different strokes for different folks. So I'm learning. Joe,
Yeah, I think we
I'm
all
gonna
are.
start charging Joe. Joe, you be laughing too hard. I'm gonna have to start charging you for these jokes.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
For my Marloism.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
I said it at the top of the hour. I'm going to say it again. We're participating in this blackout, and we've all agreed on this show that on Fridays, we're not shopping at any of those places, not at Walmart, not at Target, not at Amazon. We're going to spend our dollars on Black businesses. Now, a lot of you have said, well, where do we find Black businesses? Well, we got this for you. We have our Black business directory. If you're interested in putting your business in, you need to be very smart, please, and put all of your information in there. We can't put it in there if we don't know your name, your telephone number, your website, your email. And we also want a little bio about you because, people should be able to look at what you do and decide if you might be the one to connect with. So you have to just email all of that to us and then put, Black business directory in the subject line and email info@realvirtual.net. And if you want a copy, you do the same thing. You just put that in there and let us know that you want a copy as well. And it's easy breezy. That's what you have to do. And guess what? It's free 99 because we want to help you grow. So do that so that you can get your list. And on these Fridays where we're blacking out, you can put that money in our community. I want to check out a stat. let's look at another aspect of this. We have touched on it just a little bit, but I still feel like we need to talk about it. Gender roles and financial expectations. A Pew Research study found that 71% of men believe they should be the primary provider, while only 42% of women agree. Women in high earning relationships often feel guilty or worry about emasculating their partners. And Black women are the most educated group in the US, but still earn 36% less than white men, making financial independence unnecessary for many. Those numbers are very, very interesting and quite frightening when you look at them, because are we still falling into traditional roles? Joe, do you feel like the traditional roles that we grew up with no longer are in place? Because we all know inflation is going up and neither is this pay. And as you can see, women are making less. So are we still depending on old traditional values in the current times and it's just not working?
So that was two different questions you just asked.
Well,
One of
because you special.
yeah, but it's important. There's two different answers, because we're fighting reality versus what our values are telling us the way we should be living. Are the traditional values, like, are they there? Yeah, sure, they're there. But is that our reality right now? No, it's not, because Black women have consistently started, are consistently excelling, and you're just in a different space. You know what I mean? So we have to ask ourselves, what do we want? What's really important? Honestly, in reality, if we're really being real with ourselves, and I know this is going to be a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp when we talk about authenticity and living with joy. The if our finances have anything to do with how happy we are in a relationship, we already losing. That should be somewhere way down on the list. In reality, I know people are looking, that's crazy, that's not real life. It is real life, though. If you make it real life, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't matter who's making the money. What should be matter is what needs are being met, how we are attending to each other, and how are we providing joy to each other. The money, it was just a means to live. You know what I mean? That's not what's important. But I'm just talking.
But you're talking good stuff. This
Yeah.
is why you have people come and lay on your couch and talk, right? You got to
Get
give
to
some
the reality,
solutions.
y'all.
You got some tools.
To the
So,
reality, y'all.
do you think that women are judged for wanting financial help from their partners?
Talking me?
Constance.
Oh.
Are we judged from wanting help? I think in this society, we are judged from wanting financial help. Or we're judged if we say that we want, we don't want 50-50. We want a man to take care of things financially. Men want a traditional woman, but they don't want to be a traditional man a lot of the times. I remember I was seeing just like briefly was seeing this guy, and he was saying, this one guy, blah, blah, blah. He's talking about this one guy. He gave me an example, and he said, every time you mention this guy, they always mention his wife. So, when he was here, they would say, oh, that's his wife's car. That's his wife's. That's it. And I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, I don't want to be him. And so I was like, so I'm not going to not be successful. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what we got, and I'm not tripping off of what you have or what you don't have. So I'm not understanding like what your point is, because I'm not going to not walk in what I'm supposed to be walking in because you don't feel comfortable, or because you don't want people on the outside looking in. So it takes also a strong man, because I'm not measuring someone's viability to be my man by how much money they make. Of course, they have to be somewhat successful, but it doesn't matter. Like, just like Joe said, money is a currency. You use it, but it doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define a relationship. And that's why it's so important. Like, even like your titles, who the fuck cares? Marlo will tell you, inside Net 7, I think we've been in there 3 or 4 weeks. Nobody knew what anybody did for the first 4 weeks. Like, we don't lead with what we do. We lead with who we are. So who you are is what's important in a relationship. And that goes all the way around. What you do is irrelevant. And then how much money you make is also irrelevant. But people put so much stock in that. And that's a problem. And so it takes a really strong man to step up and say, hey, I want to be this person's partner, whether they have more limelight, notoriety, more money, or whatever than me. I'm okay with being there beside her and knowing that when we home, that it's going to be, you still going to be the man of this house. But when we outside, I might shine a little bit more. And you got to be okay with that. Every man is not okay with that.
Right. And that some men like, well, look, I'm the loud one in the in the relationship. My husband is very quiet, so he lets me be loud. But it's one of the things that he said to me when we were dating is, do you always talk this much?
See, I don't even talk. When I'm out, I'm super quiet. I'm like the introvert, and I'd be like even with my ex-husband, people didn't think he was outgoing, but I used to be like, will you shut up talking to everybody? Like, why are you gonna talk to everybody? Let's go sit in this quiet corner and not talk to anybody. But people automatically assume because I have this persona that when I'm outside, I'm that way. But it's like, no, I just wanted to relax. But people see me and they know who I am. Of course, you be that person. But I think it's, people just have these assumptions. But at the end of the day, people have to take off these masks and these titles and just and this money, because that's just superficial. It doesn't define who you are.
I absolutely love that. So, Minister Connie, does earning your own money give women more freedom in their relationships?
Okay, so that's really hard for me, because I did have a struggle with my first marriage with money, but now at this age, I done made my money. I am free from, I didn't put my money away. I paid off my house. So there's a lot of things that is good right now. So money does not make you happy. So I say right now that that's not a focal point for me. What makes me happy in a relationship is that we care for one another. And that's the most important thing. Also, I love what you said, Joe. I really did. That was really good. You was really transparent in what you're doing. Tragically, a year and a half ago, I lost my cousin. She became a doctor. Her husband killed her and killed himself because she owned a company. She made about $20 million. He wanted her to give him half the company, but she started the company way before that. Then she became a doctor in December of the year before, and he killed her 4 months later. So there is men out there.
Was she a doctor or a doctorate? She was a medical professional?
She had a doctorate in education, actually, but she was going to be a doctor. This is the thing. When I was dating, a lot of men they were intimidated by me because of what I had. That's a self-esteem thing, because that's not where I was. And I told them that, but they still had a problem. And now, since that happened to my cousin, I would be very, very careful on who I would see or date because of that. Some men will just destroy you because of that insecurity, jealousy, and all those other things. So be careful, ladies. Just be careful.
Such a tragedy, but it's not uncommon. Take it from a true crime girl who loves to listen to true crime all the time. There's many of them that are based around finances and money. Yeah. And it's kind of scary when you think about it, that, you have to take that into account. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Marla Layson, and I am an SEO strategist and business growth expert, and I'm partnering with the Fly Nubian Money Club to help you grow your business or personal brand. You know that social media page or website that you've been trying to get traffic to but couldn't? Or maybe you're a brand that wants to connect with just the right audience. Well, I've helped my clients achieve 100% success using data-informed techniques, metrics, and SEO strategies to help them grow. And now it's your turn. Join me on Saturday, March 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern for our SEO class, where you'll learn how to use keywords to attract the right audience, the SEO tools and analytics that you need to help track and grow your business, and of course, how to turn your website visitors into paying customers. So join me, Fly Nubian Money Club, SEO.
I'm not even going to touch that. Marlo, show stage love.
I was so unprepared. Yes. So join me tomorrow morning. And I will teach you all the tricks of the trade, right? To drive traffic to your website. If you have a website and you are giving social media all of your art, all of your talent, all of your skill, you're doing it wrong, honey. We're going to flip that because you don't own social media, but you pay for that URL, you pay for that web platform, whoever is providing the space for you to have a website. So we are going to teach you how to be intentional about drawing the traffic that you want to your site. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. And hopefully y'all are, everybody's website is going to be popping. Everybody's going to be getting traffic to their website. And I won't have to hear any of my friends mad because the algorithm is doing them dirty. That's all I want. I just want y'all to get out that algorithmic cycle.
Get out of that cycle. I need to get out of that cycle. Facebook don't like me right now. I'm getting slapped for everything that I do over there. Once you get in that cycle, they want to punish you. Just don't give no Black History facts. So I need you, Marlo. I need you, Marlo. So they leave me alone. So guys, join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for this awesome class. It is a part of the Fly Nubian Money Club. If you're not a part of the Fly Nubian Money Club, you need to sign up right after this show is over so that you can get in on this class tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with our beautiful Marlo. Thank you, Marlo. I do want to look at one more slide stat before we go, and we can touch this on it a little quickly because I know we're winding down, but I think it's really important to talk about this. The emotional side of money and relationships. A study in the Journal of Family Psychology found that couples who argue about money at least once a week are 30% more likely to divorce. Many women develop hyper-independence mindsets due to past financial instability or witnessing financial struggles in their upbringing. And letting go of 50-50 isn't just about finances. It's about trust, security, and shifting out of survival mode. So this leads me to a question that I would love to hear all of you answer on this, and also you, our viewership family. Is there a difference between financial partnership and financial dependency? I'm going to start with you, Constance.
Of course, there's a difference. So much. That is just it's a big difference. I don't know what financial partnership looks like. I'll just say that.
Okay, gotcha. How about you, Minister Connie? Is there a difference between financial partnership and financial dependency?
Yes, very big difference. Like I said, I've been on both sides of it. So where I was independent and then I didn't have to worry about anything. So it is a difference. So, yes.
Joe? Difference between financial dependency and partnership?
My first instinct is to say no, there is no difference.
Okay, because it's a part all under the same umbrella, right? To me, it is. That's my answer. That's all. It falls under the same umbrella. How about you, Marlo? Let me
tell you why it's different. Because you could have a financial partnership that you also have financial dependence, but you can have financial independence that you may not be a partner. So it could go on one end, but on the other end, it could not be true, right? So you could be financially dependent on somebody, but you're not a partner. But you could be a partner with someone, but you're not financially dependent upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
That's
a really good distinction. Thank you. I've never thought of it that way because I've never really had an issue in my relationship with that. So to me, it fell under that, but I can completely see that. How about you, Marlo?
What Constance said. I'm a close.
Constance said.
Regardless, you're still in it, right? I mean, whether you're a partner or you're dependent, y'all still in it together, whether you want to be or not, until you're not. So that's why I tie it all together for me. Whether you're doing it the correct way or the way it should be done, y'all still in that thing together.
Yeah, and it's still dependency because whatever the expectation is for responsibility for them is still there, right? You're not absolved of responsibility because you're in a partnership. So, yeah, I agree. This is a smart panel. I agree with all of y'all.
All of us. And what do you say, family out there? What is your thoughts about that? We're out of time. and it's Friday. It's a party day. Everybody wants to go party. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna have me a nice little glass of port wine and spend some time with my hubby bubby. So it's time for final thoughts. So let's start with you, Minister Connie. Where's your final thoughts and where can we find you?
You can find me at conniespearman.com. Also, my thoughts on this is that you have to be comfortable on as a couple where you meet. If it's 50-50, if it's I pay all the bills, whatever it is going to be, come together and work it out. Communication, conversation, communication, conversation. So that's where I would like to leave with everybody.
Gremlins in the system. Joe, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you, please?
I feel like you're not arguing over money. That's just the only thing I want to tell y'all. So whenever these conflicts come up and you happen to be talking about money, you're not. You're talking about past trauma. You're talking about triggers. You're talking about lived experience that are coming up in your relationship that you haven't necessarily dealt with, and it just disguising itself as a money issue. So I'll just say that, go find out what you're really arguing about. There's always something underlying. If you're on the same team, like I just said, y'all in that thing together. So, unless you've just absolutely chosen the wrong partner, then there's no reason for y'all to be fighting because y'all both want the same things ultimately. So figure out what that is. You can find me at realuconsulting.com. I'm taking appointments all the time, and also you can find me on Tuesday nights at Vulnerability is a New Sexy, where we talking about all types of things concerning Black men and helping them get to the vulnerable space so they can come out healed.
I absolutely love the name of that show. Guys, don't miss the show. It's another great way for you to communicate, learn new skills, how to communicate, and express the things that men don't normally discuss in the open. Maybe something you need to talk about and you could work it out with Joe on the show. And if you can't work it out on the show, you definitely can go to his couch. He has the heart to hear. He will help you at realuconsulting.com. Marlo, before I let you go to final thoughts, someone asked where they could sign up for your class. And I want them to know that all they have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. Do that today so you don't miss Marlo's class. Now, Marlo, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
My final thought is don't worry about what the people say. Do what is right for you. Every relationship is different because it involves different individuals. So what goes on in my world is not going to look the same as what goes on in your world. Just make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. In terms of money and relationships, everybody said it. Money is a tool that you use to get the things that you want and need. It's if you have enough of it, your life may be easier, but it certainly does not bring you happiness. What brings you happiness is partnership. What brings you happiness is friendship, doing things, making memories. So always keep that at the central focus of your relationship. And don't get swept up in this internet mess, right? These people create this clickbait. They want to make you emotional. They want to get you all turned up. Be open to growth, because growth is how you will get to the end of the road with the partner that you've chosen. If both of you allow space for growth, you grow apart, you grow back together. And that will be a great recipe for the rest of your life. If you're looking for me, my Instagram handle is right there. You can go ahead and follow me. I will be teaching tomorrow. Grow with the SEO. This class is actually good for people who are just launching websites, people who are on the verge of launching websites so that you can adopt best practices, and people who have current websites but you aren't getting the traffic that you want. We'll talk about social media. We'll talk about AI. We'll talk about bots. We're going to talk about all the beautiful, sexy things that go on the back end of websites. People can't see what's going on behind the scenes, but I'm going to teach you what's going on behind the scenes so you can do it better than anybody around you. That's all I got, y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Fish
Happy
lips with
Friday.
consequences.
All right. Listen, and this is after the Fat Tuesday. Now, what do? We get fish fries on Fridays now. We
Yeah,
got
it's the Lenten
right.
season. You had to give up something. I'm giving up stress, which I never pick up stress anyway, but I'm giving up stress for Lent. And if you got some fish, eat it. If you got some shrimp, eat it. You know, you eat the things from the sea on Fridays between now and Easter. At least
All
that's how we
right.
do it down in South Louisiana.
That's how I do it too. So I'm looking forward to that. Constance, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
First, I want to let you know, if you ain't got no SEO, your website ain't gonna grow. Bars.
It ain't.
Just going back to that 81% of women, Black women, are heads of households. It's really, it's difficult, ladies. 81% of you are the head of your household, which is really difficult. Like Deborah Will Wynn said, to let your guard down. So I understand. And so then there has to be a lot of internal work that you do in order to let down your guard. But also, on the same token, we need partners who also are willing to do the work to allow us to rest in our femininity. I do believe that, you know, I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic about the state of Black relationships, Black love, Black community, Black families. And I just think that we all have to work to make it happen. It has to be a conscious effort so that we can live happily ever after. Everybody wants to live a great life. And just like Marlo said, relationships are important, you know, not just your spouse or your significant other, but relationships with people in general. So I think we need to focus and just be very conscious about how we move forward in our relationships. Whatever I do, if I ain't laughing, if I'm not having a good time, I don't want to do it. And so that's what we need to keep at the forefront. Laughter, fun, it keeps the stress down and it keeps the peace up. So continue to just walk in joy, and rest in love. That's what I say. And when you do that, you will attract what it is that you're looking for. That's where I'm at. So where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter. I just came off of a great training with the Grow Your Money Club, Robinhood for beginners. It was really dope and amazing. So if you are looking to invest and you want to grow your money and not blow your money, go to the Grow Your Money Club, growyourmoney.club, and join the community of folks who are looking to invest and go from being an employee to letting their money work for them. Go to growyourmoney.club.
Hey, listen, there's many of these billionaires that are doing the exact same thing. And Constance does not play. When she tells you 6 and 7 figures, she means it. So you want to make sure that you tap into Constance. And she told you where you can find her, that's your marching orders. Please do so. Make sure that you follow everyone here because we all have something different for you. You know, maybe you want to learn how to buy overseas. Well, that would be me. So here's my final thoughts. Listen, communication is truly the key. Before you decide to get into a relationship, once you're at that point before you get married, I do highly, highly suggest that you go to therapy and consultation before you put that ring on each other's finger. Take the class that you have to talk about everything about before you get married, because it is about communication, and it may bring up some things that maybe you didn't know you had a little bit of trauma about, but you can work through so that you can start off your marriage on a solid foundation. And that's what's more important than anything. It's all about the communication and how you want to run your household, not what Gabrielle Union is doing, not what these celebrities are doing, not what Aunt May next door is doing. It's between you, your spouse, on how you want to set your financial house in order and how things are put into your household. That's critical if you want a successful marriage. And if you want to learn about moving abroad, I have a beautiful quiz on my website at www.laurakey.net, and it will help you decide if it's something in your near future or a little bit further down the road. It will help you think about the critical questions that you need to answer before you pack up and get ready to move. So I also have some other beautiful free things that I just updated on the site today. So make sure that you go to www.laurakey.net. And it was deep. We shared some personal things with you about our own lives, and we hope that that helped to illuminate some things in yours as well. But it's clear that money and relationships is about way more than just the numbers. It's about security. It's about trust. And it's about breaking free from feeling like you're in survival mode. Gabrielle Union said she had to unlearn the 50-50 mindset. And a lot of women are realizing the same thing. But at the end of the day, what works for one couple may not work for another. So the real question is, are we making financial decisions in relationships out of necessity or choice? Are we building real partnerships, or are we just surviving together? Let's keep this conversation going. Please continue to put your comments in, like, share, because we are here every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keep the comments coming. So until next time, stay fly and stay Nubian and keep building your money and your mindset. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. Be blessed.